a little built-in bookshelf. So today I got Milani to tell me how high she wants her shelves. I got the material the other day on a Home Depot run, so let's see how it goes. All right, y'all, right here, just measuring our 2x on the frame to make sure that they're all actually the same. So that way we know how fat or wide we need to rip our plywood. All right, here we're just getting, obviously, our table saw, our miter saw uncovered. Those are going to be pretty instrumental in making sure that we make some nice straight cuts during this. Obviously, we need everything to be symmetrical in a line once we go to install it. So enjoy the gun show. I went with this is a 1/4 inch hard plywood. See, casing is not that large, or the opening for the shelf isn't that large. So I wanted to use something that's thin, doesn't take up that much room. And we're gonna cut this to length. So my first piece needs to be 3 15/16. So I'll rip that, lay that down, do the shelves every 21 inches. So shouldn't be too terribly difficult. All right, so when you're using your table saw, you want to make sure that you're accounting for what piece of the wood that you want. So if you want the piece that's on the outside of the blade, that's where you're going to want to do your measurement. If you're wanting to keep the inside of the blade, keep the wood inside the blade, that's where you're going to want your measurement. Always making sure that the top and the bottom come out to be the same. Otherwise, you're obviously going to have some lopsided cuts. And then you're obviously going to want to apply some pressure from the side to keep it flush against that rail, and then applying some steady pressure from the back just to push it through. With a material this light, something you can certainly handle on your own. Just make sure you're always, staying away from the blade and trying to stay as safe as possible. That was our only piece at 3 15/16. The rest of them are 4, so I'll make the major adjustment. And shelves are going to be every 20.5 inches. I double measured. So about to cut 2 pieces at 20.5. We'll go from there.
Tap, tap, tapping it.
Something else just to note when you're using the table saw, you'll see here the blade is not just sticking like inches out of the wood, just another added safety precaution. So that way if there is any slippage, there is minimum, flesh to blade contact, because there's not a lot coming through the wood. All right, let's see how they fit. They're in there, so it works out. We're gonna put a frame around this. All right, y'all. So the plan here is we're gonna let a little bit of gravity and some fine workmanship kind of hold these shelves in place. So we're just gonna use the lip of that plywood to kind of hold the shelf there, and then we're gonna set the other one right on top of it. So that way, once we nail these into place, obviously all the way up, those will be secure. Won't be able to slide in or out. All right, so here is what a very, very rough draft looks like. Obviously, nothing is secure just yet. Then we realized this sucker ain't level, so we're gonna have to go back and cut and make that work. All righty, here's what we got going. Nothing's actually installed yet. It's all just kind of laid on here. I gotta go through, for sure level this one, which will affect this measurement, which will affect that measurement, which ultimately will affect this. This one's at like 12 3/4. This one's at 13 1/4. So there's some fixing to be done, but this is what it's roughly going to look like. Out of 20 1/2, we ended up going with 15 1/4. We'll work on cleaning this up. Obviously, sanding down our actual shelves is just scrap wood, but you make do with what you got. What's up, you guys? It's been a few days, can't you tell? Probably not, but just so you know, it's been a few days. Today we're just going to sand them if I can. I'm gonna try and get them painted before we go. It's beach volleyball night again, so for sure want to get them sanded. If I can get them painted, awesome. If not, we can just pick back up tomorrow. So interestingly enough, got like 4 layers on these on this wood here. So we've got obviously the raw, there's like a light blue, there's another light blue, and then there's a white that was painted on top. Decided that sucked. It's clean, but it sucked.
All right, so Wayne has been working really hard on the bookshelf behind me. So he's cut all of the pieces that we need. He's sanded. We used pieces from the encasing of our door. So there was paint on it already. So he sanded those, prepped them, primed them. Now it is time to add the wallpaper that we're gonna put on the very back. We bought this wallpaper on Amazon. I'll try to link it below if you're interested.
Alright, so this right here, we cut it a little bit larger than the bookshelf width itself, and at least for me, this proved to be fatal. It just made it so hard for me, but luckily my better half was able to make it work. At least we didn't have any wasted material. We had to do yesterday, didn't feel like filming it because you guys have seen us do a lot of it. We sanded and cleaned off this little spot on the inside. Now, we got our X-Acto knife. We'll see how this goes. I might look pretty calm at this moment, but there was no patience to be had, no talking to be done, just pure frustration on why can I not get this daggum wallpaper to go on as it should. There was creases and wrinkles everywhere. As you guys I think will come to see, I ended up having to leave it because I just got too flustered. Just want the record to show that I hate wallpaper.
Say that. Why so serious?
Chill out, Dad. It's cool.
Attempt 2. We got a little frustrated, so we're gonna try this one more time. Making the piece a little bit smaller to hopefully help with the creases. But we will see.
Here we're just wiping down these sanded boards, getting them ready to be primed and painted. Alrighty, you guys, we are back to working on that built-in shelf. Sanded them all off yesterday. I was able to get, those scrap pieces that had the paint on it really clean. So I feel really good about that. Other one is just some, it's a hard 1/4 inch plywood. Anyways, goal today, get them painted. Make sure you prime. Your boy is about to forget. So we're reusing this Kills product. We used it on the entire interior of the house. Whatever you want to use here to prime, whether it's Kills or just another general interior primer, that'll work. But obviously you want to make sure that when you get ready to paint, it's got something that it can adhere to.
Now that we have the wallpaper up, granted not perfect, but hey, who is? So now we're going to frame it out. So as you can see, this is like raw wood. So what we're gonna do is use these pieces, and they're going to be attached to the sides here. And then they're also going to help us hold up the actual shelf. So this will be on either side, and then we put the shelf in, and then it will frame it out. However, this is not a square box. Like we've said so many times, nothing is straight in this house. So we're going to have to measure and use a level to see how long we need to make these pieces, because they're both not going to be the same size. So that's what we're going to do now.
So this is where we started, and it made life difficult later. We didn't level the very, very bottom. You think it should be front, back, or middles?
Front, back.
We do middles. Maybe like offset it, kind of like we did the thing.
Okay.
So I want to stay on the 2 line. So we don't have our table saw. Dummy. Because we don't have one, because it's Ron's. So instead of driving over there, picking it up, we made one. So we probably need to buy like the Craig jig thing that helps you out. What we did, we measured here to here, here to here. We've clamped it down a few places, so that way I can throw the saw against this and get a straighter edge than I probably would if I was doing it on my own.
Schmott, schmott, schmott. Yeah.
So back to what I said earlier, we're now having to add some shims in after talking with the GC, so that way we could make our bottom shelf level after we fought so hard to get all the other ones. So this is doing that now. So next up, we bought some trim for the outside of it, obviously. Sand these bad boys and then get them painted. Got them scotch-brighted or sanded. Now we're ready to paint.
That looks good, yeah.
So, I guess
You just oscillate them to the end of this.
So what we're having to do here is cut the actual shelves. The trim that we're going to install was going to actually end up hitting it, preventing it from getting flush. So we're bringing out the old oscillator, our good friend, so that way that trim can go super flush against it and we have a nice straight line from top to bottom. So here's our before, just that roughed, boxed out frame where that old wall heater used to be, or wall furnace, to now. Here it is, our nice, beautiful, relatively custom looking built-in shelf. I think the wallpaper goes well, kind of complements the green and the neutral tones that we have in the house here. So yeah, really happy with how this turned out. It was a fun little project. And now Milani coming in, getting those finishing touches in, kind of filling those cracks. So getting the caulk in there, kind of seal those up, just kind of take it again to that next level, kind of really elevate the space. So now Milani's coming back here, taking that wet rag and just kind of wiping off the excess, so that way you get that much of a cleaner finish, with the job that she's in there doing. And coming up next week is a banquet of fun.
Yes, you should.
All the inside is